Hi guys, Fuzz here, and welcome back to Final Fantasy IX and to Memoria, which is where we left off previously. So as well as doing this final dungeon of the game, well at least the start of the final dungeons of the game I should probably say, we are also undertaking a optional side quest known as the Nero Brothers. And to do this side quest we are heading back bit by bit as we make our way through the dungeon to Limblum in order to head to the Tantalus hideout and progress with the quest. So I do recommend that you do the side quest, even though it does involve some annoying backtracking. And we've done 2 checkpoints already. We need 9 checkpoints to complete the quest. There's 18 in total. The first was to visit the Nero Brothers, or to visit the weird guys that are a strange race at Tantalus hideout before actually entering the Ether Tree. And then now that we've defeated the Nova Dragon and were able to return to the Invincible, we were able to do the second checkpoint. So we're going to go ahead now and make our way up the stairs. And this weird ball thing here is actually a save point. There's no Moogles in this dungeon, so it's going to be these weird balls which we can use to save our game. And a familiar enemy here in the Iron Giant, which I will defeat quickly and be right back into the action. So we'll use some of our nice abilities that do a lot of damage. And the trash now are developing tremendous amounts of health. It's got to be said by this stage of the game. You really do need these max damaging abilities to make reasonable progress now through these dungeons. And that Iron Giant is, well, a giant no longer. So that was just an example battle. You can see you get a nice amount of experience and AP. Obviously I will go back to just skipping battles once again, since it just moves the walkthrough along at a nicer pace. I'll just save first of all. One thing I did forget to mention is you can actually also change your party members at these kind of weird things. What we're looking for here is a field icon, and that contains a brand new weapon for Freya, and a pretty decent weapon as well. What was it that... okay. The Cain's Lance is what we just collected, which is Freya's second best weapon, although I do already have the Dragon's Hair, which is also a nice weapon in terms of raw power. But we'll go ahead and just equip the Heavy Lance here to learn the 6 Dragons ability for Freya, seeing as how the Dragon's Crest also does maximum damage regardless of what weapon it is that you're using. And see for yourself, that's interesting. But now we'll exit this room and move on. And we've got this kind of pendulum thing dangling here. Now there's a hidden card player here that we can engage in if you want to do so, although he has some awesome cards you can take. He's also quite a challenge to play, so just, you know, if you're into the Tetra Master, then you can go ahead and challenge him. You've got the save points as well, just in case you do lose out. But otherwise it's just a case of making our way to the next area. And I believe around here there is another item for us to grab. So if we head up here, we'll have a weapon for Zidane to collect just around here, so make sure you collect the tower there. I don't think it's going to be any good for our Zidane, because he's already using the ultimate weapon. And we can't learn the abilities, but if you want to use the status mini for whatever reason, then it's a pretty good weapon, I guess. And it's also quite powerful if you do not have the ultimate weapon. It is the second strongest in the game. Make sure at this point you do have Zidane in the party. Remember, you don't have to in this dungeon, but we're going to need him to do some stealing on the next boss, which is coming up. So here we have a kind of curvy path. You're probably going to want to make sure that your characters are equipped with body temp at this point. And just make sure, yeah, all ours are. And then we're just going to follow the path round. And we're going to find another boss. So this is Mariris. And we fought Mariris before, you may or may not remember. This boss likes to cast Fire. It has 56,000 health. So we're going to start stealing some Genji armour that we do want. And apart from that, we're just going to start beating it down a bit, I guess, because we don't want to be doing the whole killing part of the fight once all the stuff's been stolen. If you've got your ribbons and that equipped, then you should be taking less damage from all these attacks. So I just want to be a little bit cautious with how much damage we're doing now, so we can grab the other couple of items. There's an Ultima Sword and a Masamune as well. You can also get this guy to go to sleep if you have the ultimate weapon equipped. Now that I've stolen all the items, we can go ahead and defeat this boss. And once again, Freya and Quina should take care of things, no problem. You don't have to use Freya or Quina, by the way. You can have Amaranth with his No Mercy ability, Vivi with his black magics. Both very, very powerful. But these just happen to be the characters that I have developed, which is why I'm using them. Down goes the next boss. Simple as that. You do have to survive this ability, by the way, Raining Sword, so make sure you keep your health up throughout the fight. You can't avoid this ability, and it does do some nasty damage. But as long as you survive that ability, then you're good to carry on. Right, and that actually brings us to the next checkpoint, so I'm going to head back to Lindblom. So that's checkpoint 3 all done now. We're going to head over into the next room. Get a bit of a cutscene here. Okie dokie. So once we've done that, we can go and collect an angel flute, which is hanging around there, which is an awesome weapon, the best weapon by the way for Ico. And there's also, I believe, a save point around here as well. Yes, a hidden save point, so you can use that if you need. And that's also triggered checkpoint number 4, so we'll go and sort that out. So now there's 4 of them that aren't there. And Nero is going to go and see what's going on. Once again, that's it for the checkpoint. And now we're going to head over to the next screen, where we've got some strange floating objects around. But we're just going to start making our way up. Where there's a storm. And when I said there's a short scene, well, I wasn't lying. That's actually triggered the next checkpoint, by the way. But there should also be something for us to grab, I believe, around here. Oh no, it's not something to grab, it's a card player, once again. And we can actually collect ribbon cards from him if that's of interest to you. But for now, it's backtracking again. Don't ask me what that strange heart symbol was about, because I've got no idea. Whoever designed this side quest needs to know that this kind of backtracking repeatedly isn't fun. But hey, there you go. Right, anyway, we're just going to cross the bridge here. And looks like there's somebody down below. This seems somewhat strangely familiar, doesn't it? Okay, so now we have control of Zidane once again, and you guessed it, another checkpoint, checkpoint number 6. And back up the stairs we go, this time to a new screen and a new scene. And that will have triggered the next checkpoint as well. There's also a weapon we need to grab here, which is the Rune Claws, Amarant's ultimate weapon, so definitely make sure we pick those up. Just a reminder, with these checkpoints, there's 18 in total, but we only need to do 9. Any 9 of them will be fine. I'm just doing the first 9 to get this side quest out of the way. So let's carry on doing that. That was checkpoint number 7. I'm just going to go and sort that out. That's a lot of heroes now. Right, with that done, we've only actually got to backtrack twice more now for 2 more checkpoints, which is a real relief. But make sure your characters have body temp equipped if they haven't already under abilities, and for your spellcasters they will also want to have loudmouth, because we have another boss, and I do recommend that you have Zidane in your party so that he can steal. We're going to want to steal the blood sword because it is quite a rare item, there's only 2 available, and also the Grand Helm. And this is Tiamat, who fortunately still has a sleep vulnerability, believe it or not. So you can go ahead and exploit that and start stealing. Okay, so that's everything stolen. And if you're going to struggle with this boss because you're not well leveled or whatever the case may be, the best strategy is to basically just keep it asleep and then hit it with magic abilities and summons, which won't wake it up. If you do just want to fight it normally, it's going to drain you quite quickly of your offensive abilities, so just bear that in mind. But otherwise I'm just going to use the same tactic that's been keeping us going strongly up to this point, which is Dragon's Crest and Frog Drop. And because he does like to drain MP, just bear that in mind and keep an eye on it, and be ready with some ethers if need be. Fortunately, both Dragon's Crest and Frog Drop are not dependent on the stats of the character. Well, with Frog Drop, the level is obviously important, but these draining abilities aren't going to be doing too much in the way of reducing that damage. Just in case you are joining us for one of the first time viewers, Dragon's Crest is improved by killing dragons. The number of dragons that you have squared, I believe it is. So 100 dragons will max out your damage, and Frog Drop is based on Queen's level multiplied by the number of frogs you've caught. But after that battle, checkpoint 8. And now we're just going to head into the eye, as they say. And we will once again reach a new area, which is called the Ruins. And it's quite a linear path, with no items to collect in this first part. And now we're in the Lost Memory area. And there's another Tetra master player around here, who incidentally has some of the best cards in the whole game. So if you are a Tetra master player, then you will want to play this guy. Once again, make sure you save before you do so. And we're going to head up these stairs here. And we'll continue around. Very strange little area this, isn't it? Right, and now that's going to have triggered the next checkpoint, checkpoint 9. If you have done all the checkpoints, the ones that I've shown you up to this point, you don't have to go and hand this in right now. You can complete the whole dungeon and then go and do this checkpoint afterwards to save backtracking. I am going to hand it in now so that I can keep the Nero's Brothers side quest all in one video, so it's handy for people. If you haven't done all the checkpoints yet, then keep watching, and even though I have done them, I will mention when each of the next checkpoints becomes available so that you can still get your total of 9. Remember, there's 18 in total, you need any 9, and I'm about to finish it. And once we get that little scene where Zidane comments on the family, we can just head inside the hideout here and open this chest for a protect ring, and that brings us to the end of that quest. We now no longer have to backtrack, unless of course you haven't got all the checkpoints yet, but that's it. And the protect ring is actually a rare item, believe it or not, so it is worth doing the quest because the more we have of them the better. What I would say is, if you've, like me, have just completed all 9, you could potentially do this side quest again by getting the next 9 checkpoints. Whether that's intended or a glitch is unknown, but don't bother, okay? I'll tell you now, don't bother. You will not get another reward for it. But if you did come back after another checkpoint, you would start the first cutscene off again, but it's completely pointless. But that's it, guys, so we're going to head back to Memoria now. And now we're back on the weird kind of path again, which we're going to follow through into the next area. It is another linear path. Surprised Zidane's not feeling a little bit weird climbing up the side of that path. The enemies are coming in thick and fast now. And here we have another save point, so go ahead and save your game. And I'm just going to run through the waterfall here, which will take us through to the next area. Look at Queena swimming around. Queen is a very funny character. Right, and surprise, surprise, that will trigger another checkpoint if you are still doing that. Just be wary that if you haven't yet started the Nero Brothers side quest, this is the final opportunity to start it. Once we get past this point, there'll be not enough checkpoints to complete the quest if you haven't started it by now, so go ahead and start it if you want to do so. At this point, you might want to prepare for the next incoming boss battle, which isn't too challenging, but to prepare, make sure that all your characters are still equipped with body temp ability, and your melee characters have the Bright Eyes ability to protect against darkness. And make sure nobody's equipped with return magic, by the way, and also just be sure that everybody can defend against water attacks. The ribbon will do it for you, and anything else, of course, that you can put on your 4th character will also be helpful. So just make sure that you're prepared in that sense, and then we can continue on. It looks like everybody's come to see what's going down. here we have our next boss. This is the Kraken, which has 55,000 health. And the two tentacles act in the way of ads, but if you're protected against water damage, you can completely ignore them. If you do want to kill them, they have 10,000 health each. And other than that, it's just the same tactics as before. Let's steal the items first. You can steal a couple of bits from the tentacles, but nothing overly exciting. So we want to get the Genji helmet, wizard rod and gluten's robe from the boss itself, and then it's just a case of beating it down using the same tactics. So that's everything stolen, and a nice bit of damage to this guy done already. And he keeps healing me with his water abilities, which is very nice of him, it has to be said. I haven't even had to heal once with Dagger yet in this fight. So long as you prepare as I warn you to, in the way I warn you before we do these bosses, most of them should be fairly simple unless you're severely underpowered, in which case you just need to level up a little bit, but seeing as how you're not locked to Memoria, that shouldn't be a big problem. One or two more hits should finish this guy off, I would say. Thank you, Kraken, for not doing actually any damage whatsoever. This is probably the most unremarkable boss that we've ever engaged, isn't it? Apart from its health, it has nothing to actually be frightful of. I mean, like Watergar. Yeah, thanks for the heal. We have it. Oh, he looks sad. I don't blame him. Right, so if you're still doing the Nero brothers, there is another checkpoint for you. Now we've entered the time warp area. And over here is another hidden save point. You're now going to be encountering behemoths all the way through the rest of the dungeon as trash mobs. They don't have any status ailments, so you can unequip all your status protection now, apart from for bosses, which I warned you about beforehand. But Beast Killer is useful, and somewhere around here. Yeah, don't want to go through there just yet. There's another hidden... There we go, another hidden NPC we can battle with in the terms of cards, and Tetramaster, once again, has some of the best and rarest cards in the game, so you might want to make use of that opportunity, especially because we do just have that save point down below, so you don't really risk losing anything. But other than that, we can head through to the next area now. And this will trigger another scene. And along with it, checkpoint number 13 for those still on the quest. The scene out of the way, we can head up the ladder here to the next area. And here is another guy that we can battle with. And just over on the left hand side is a weapon for Vivi. It's his ultimate weapon, and it can teach him the Doomsday ability, so make sure you grab that. The card guy over here, by the way, deals only in Ozma cards and Dark Matter cards. Both are very powerful, so go ahead and engage him if you want to do so. Make sure that Zidane is once again in the party if he wasn't for whatever reason, so that we can steal off the next boss, and then we can go ahead and prepare. Okay, so to prepare for the next battle, make sure that your party is equipped with Antibody, Locomotion, Devil Killer and Earth Protection. Best Earth Protection is probably the Circlet, Feather Boots and Gaia Gear, although you can also just use Auto Float if you don't have any of that. And what else? Oh yeah, make sure that you don't have multiple levels multiple of 5 on any of your characters. Just, you know, gain a level or whatever, or just swap them out for somebody else if need be. And once we've entered this next area, by the way, there was another checkpoint when you enter here, but don't access one of the doors because then it goes away if you need it. So go back and do checkpoint 14 at the Nero Brother side quest if you're still doing that. But anyway, you can access any of these doors for the cutscene. And we have another familiar friend. You guys who might remember the Lich. So this guy shouldn't be too difficult. We're going to once again start with stealing. There's Genji Gloves, Black Robe and Siren Flute that we're going to want to get. Oops, didn't mean to do auto. He has level 5 Death, which we have hopefully protected against if you've made sure that your characters are not having levels multiples of 5. Dragon's Crest will once again be our main damage dealer here, along with the good old Frog Drop. Freya's a little bit unlucky to have Doom set upon her. It is a rare ability, so we'll get Freya back up to full health in a moment. I'm just going to cut back on the damage a little bit now so that we don't deplete its 58,000 health until we've stolen all items. I think that's the final item to steal. Well, we'll just double check. Oh, come on, that's not fair. Yep, so we've stolen everything now. Zidane, whose ultimate weapon really can't even compete with the Dragon Crest and the Frog Drop ability, so I'm going to get him on resurrection duty. And stop should be ineffective because of the locomotion ability that I have equipped on all party members. By the way, if you have Doomsday because you're using Vivi, then don't cast that here. It would actually heal the boss. here comes that level 5 death, which is guaranteed to kill any party member with a level that is a multiple of 5. Have it, the Lich is down, and that will bring you to checkpoint number 15. Right, so a couple of things to note in this area here. There's a hidden save point to the left, which I didn't want to go down there yet. Doesn't matter too much. It's very brave of Zidane, isn't it? Right, so back in the original area, since I didn't mean to cross over for that cutscene straight away, there's a hidden save point here which you're going to want to use, and over on the right hand side, if somehow your game clock is under 12 hours, then you can collect the Excalibur 2 weapon. It's the only way to get it, so you would have to do a severe speed run in order to get here at this stage of the game, with the game clock on 12 hours or less. But if it's not, as of course mine isn't, because I've been doing a walkthrough showing everything that can be done in this game, then you will not be able to collect that item. But it is there, so there you go. For the sake of completeness, I at least need to tell you about it. But I'm going to finish off here today, folks, because that is the end of the Memoria area. We're going to be entering the final dungeon in the next episode. So you can still head back to the world map if you need be by backtracking. But if you're prepared to go straight ahead, then make sure you save your game and pick up next time with me as we go on through to the next area. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hit the like button if you have. I'll see you soon for more Final Fantasy IX. Getting very close to the end now.